Okay, so here we are at Sales Comp 26, and I'm sitting here with a colleague and friend, Jetride Frazier. Jetride, it's so good to see you here today.
Yes, it's very good to be here. It's been exciting and been learning a lot. So yeah, it's great. It's great.
That's great. Well, today what I wanted to talk to you about is AI. Everybody's talking about AI.
Yes.
And one of the things I thought would be interesting would be just talk to us a little bit about your view on AI and its impact on humanity, how we work, just the broader context of AI. And then I want to get into how you are leveraging it, maybe personally and professionally as well. So what do you think about like this whole landscape of AI and what we're going through right now?
Yeah. Well, AI is very interesting. It's very new. We're still learning, right?
Yeah.
And trying to be early adopters on what it can be and the opportunities that it can bring. I can tell you that I was cautious and apprehensive about AI and using it, and I'm like, what is it going to do, and how is it going to impact my work? How's it going to impact my team? Is it going to be a good thing? And always when there's something that you don't really have a lot of experience in or knowledge in, you kind of go for the worst, and your mind kind of goes there. But I can tell you, I've learned. I have educated myself, and I've talked to others about just applications. I've listened to you and how you've applied it and how you can use it in the workplace. And I can honestly say I have learned how to use it both in my professional and my personal life, with just organization, planning, analytics, things that would take me hours or days to do now take me moments or seconds, and I can focus on refinement versus actually putting down to get the foundation and putting the pieces in formatting. So I think AI, there's endless possibilities of how it can just help enhance. And remember, it's still a tool. It's not something to replace people, but it is something to enhance your work, enhance and just help you take you to that next level, or just give you that extra oomph that you need and that time back. So I'm excited about it.
That's great. So we share a common viewpoint. I see AI as a tool. It's something that can enhance what we're doing, on our job. It can enhance the solutions that we want to create. It can enhance our thinking. But I do see it as a tool as well. Can you talk to us about what are some of the applications you might use? And, what are pros or cons, or what do you really like to use personally, professionally?
Sure. So I've used a couple of different platforms. I've had Claude, I've used Copilot, I've used ChatGPT. I know there's several out there, and I kind of try to test all of them to see kind of like how each one of them are going to respond to a different question, and I treat it like a conversation, really. I'm a very much a brainstormer or discussion type conversationalist. So I'm talking to it like it is a person, like, well, what do you think about this? Or give me a good idea about, for me, it's more so about creating, I'm saying the relationship, but really I want to give as much as my personality or how my style is, so then they can learn and also reciprocate whatever the information is in a way that I can understand it and digest it.
I think that's very interesting. So you said couple key points there. I agree with you. I am more conversational because particularly if I want to get some feedback on something, or, hey, help me draft this one thing, I'd like it to be in my voice, and that's one way to learn the voice. The creepy part, or the interesting part, is I was, working with AI on one thing, and it said, Michelle, given your interest in fitness and running and this and that, I think it would be great if two completely unrelated topics, right?
Yes.
Which was, I found very interesting. So it
learns from you.
It learns from you, yes. So the tool is learning. So what advice would you give people, Jetride, that maybe aren't really leveraging it today? There's a lot of talk about younger people.
Yeah.
They're either in or they are out.
Yes.
They are opposed to this technology, and they're saying it's taking jobs. What do I do? What advice would you give others based on the experience you've had so far?
Sure. So I get the apprehension. I was there, What I would say to young folks, whether they're adopting it or they won't, again, I think of it as a tool. I related it back to kind of math and how you learn math. When you were younger, they made you learn the fundamentals, right? You had to know 2 + 2 = 4, and you had to know it and memorize it and understand the basics. And then they said, okay, now that you know that, here's a calculator, and it enhanced the way that you did your calculations. So you knew the experience, you knew the knowledge about it, and then you used the tool to enhance your work. So I would think of it that way. Make sure you understand your business, make sure you understand your industry, get the knowledge and do the research first, and then start looking at AI as the tool to help you enhance or take you to the next level, not the basics or the basement of where you start in your foundation.
That's very interesting you said that because, we've got a consulting practice here at Sales Globe, and we were talking about how it's so easy for some of the data analytics when you're doing cost modeling.
Yes.
Or you're looking at pay for performance, but we're like, wait a minute, hold back here. How do people, how can younger people coming in, if they don't learn how to do this work without AI, just learn how to do it.
Yes.
And really understand it, if they just start leveraging a tool to do it for them, we don't believe that they're going to get the same experience and learning experience and
Yes.
understand what that data means. So we feel like you got to go through the trenches, and then you earn the right to leverage the AI.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree completely. I mean, you have to be able to retain the knowledge, and if you're just given the information for a number of reasons. I'll give you an example. I used an AI agent to help me create some analytics or a dashboard that I wanted to create for leadership. And it was with, Excel, and it did some things, and it took a couple of different programs or different Excel spreadsheets that I had, and then created this wonderful, beautiful, visually just aesthetic dashboard, which is what I wanted. Well, when I started to look at a little bit of the details and the nuances, and I'm like, okay, these formulas, they're nice, but they're a little complicated, and I would have to rebuild this every time I go. It wasn't repeatable. It wasn't. But if you don't know Excel, if you don't know your formulas, that you just would have taken this and then like, oh my gosh, I have to rebuild this every single time, or really not being able to tell the story or make it repeatable. So I had to go in, tell a little bit things, or even tweak the work that they did to get it to where I needed to be. If I didn't have that knowledge, I wouldn't have been able to do that or catch some of the errors, because it's not perfect. So it's some of those things where you have to be aware of your work, aware of your experience and your knowledge to know, like, okay, this is good. You still can make it better, and also in incorporating that human element into it as well. So something to keep in mind.
Well said, Trita. Thank you so much for being here today, and we'll talk to you again soon, I hope.
This was fun. Thank you for having me.
Of course.